for my next guest, what turned out to be something to fight the boredom during COVID lockdowns has now turned out 5 years later into hundreds of thousands of followers across social media. It all started out with, hey, watch my girlfriend's reaction while I play this guitar solo. From there, it grew into a channel of harmony, great lush vocals, the bringing of Alex's girlfriend, Alex, out to the front. They've got beautiful chemistry. They're very talented. Guitar, vocals, the whole 9 yards. They're really committed to this platform and, rising their community, as they would say. They've put a nice community of people together. They're genuine. They're funny. They're a great couple. And there's a lot in store that I don't want to blow here in this intro. So let's dive into Alex and Alex. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hey, we are back with another episode of 10,000 Miles. And today is a very, very, very special day. Content creators, artists, talented people, Alex and Alex from Manchester, UK. Welcome to the show. How are you both doing today?
Good. Very well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us.
Absolutely.
I don't often get a dynamic duo, so I'm very excited to have you both on today. I want to tell the audience how this all came about, if you don't mind.
Of course.
Absolutely.
All right. So I've been claimed to be a bit of a doom scroller at times. The tablets and YouTube and things have become a network to me, aside from YouTube, television, and the short content. But I get so much interest out of, because I work so much, my brain is sizzling all day, that when I finally get a chance to unwind, I like to have a combination of entertainment, feel good stuff. I never watch the bad stuff. Who wants to be brought down by all the nonsense going on in the world? So I seek out the interesting things, everything from cobblers repairing shoes to artists doing cool things, right? And one day I see this guy, he's playing a Strat. He's got his long-haired blonde girlfriend sitting in the background. And the subject says, check out my girlfriend's reaction to this guitar solo. Right? This was where it all started. And I was like, what's this guy doing? And so all of a sudden, and now I'm like, wow, this dude's shredding. He's like playing these solos note for note. This guy's really good. He's got him down. And it's Alex, quite a good guitar player. You know, people know from the guitars behind me. I've been around a lot of guitar players, and some of the intricacies in the solos that you pull off, man, you make them look like you heard them and learned them in a second.
It's very kind.
Very natural. And then out of the shadows comes this voice. And all of a sudden, I'm like, has she been a singer this whole time? Has she just been hanging out in the back? And then I see some of your live gig footage or some band shots. So I start digging a little bit deeper to figure out who you guys are. And I'm like, I just love that they're doing this thing together. I've been with them for, I don't know, maybe 18 months. How much is your social media follower count grown in the past 18 months?
Oh, in the last 18 months, I would say, I'm guessing, but I would think something around the 200,000 mark on TikTok, I'd say. Okay. Maybe a bit less across YouTube and Instagram, but certainly TikTok. About 200K. Yeah, that's over 18 months.
Yeah.
So I've been with you on a long ride here, and it's a privilege for me to have you guys on. And then I'm like, okay, these guys are doing it. Okay, these guys are doing it because I have a very good friend, and I'll tell you the story later on, but he was the earliest guy I know into podcasting ever. Yeah. Like late 90s. Okay. Wow. Before it was even on the Apple iPod. Okay. He was putting audio feeds up on RSS tracks. If you know what RSS is stands for really simple streaming. And that's how news feeds used to be put out.
I see.
In the very, very early days of the internet. So he's like, well, I'll put an audio track up there and people could download them on their 14.4 modems. But he started, and so he's run an 18 plus year podcast that he does twice a week, 3-hour episodes. Wow. And he, when he convinced me to start my podcast, he, in the back of his mind, he says, if Vic makes it past 7 episodes, he's in, because that's the statistic. 7 or 8 episodes, and or 7 bits of content that are created. You guys have thousands of clips. So I congratulate you both. As somebody said to me when I solicited somebody to come on the show, they were like, okay, the guy seems nice. He's got a good LinkedIn. Wow, look at the diversity of his guests. Oh, wait a minute. He's in his 80-something episode. Okay, this guy's doing it. Yeah. And that's what I say back to you too. You guys are doing it, and the world favors the doers.
Absolutely.
The world favors the doers. Everybody can dream. Everybody can say, I'd love it if I had this, and I love it to that. But the world favors the doers, and my hat's off to both of you. You are doing it. So
that's very kind.
Thank you so much.
Here comes the first question. It's where I start to shut up. Tell me how all of this started, how you decided to put your content on social media, where you came up with the little niche. Check out what my girlfriend's response is to this thing. And Alex, by the way, Emmy Award actress you are. Because you're sitting back there and, you're looking at your phone, or you're nonchalant, and then all of a sudden, and you're like, hey, what's going on? Fantastic little niche, by the way. But how did that come about? Were you doing something before that? Was that the thing that started kicking in? I will be silent.
Yeah, I mean, so TikTok kind of started as a lockdown project.
Okay.
It was around sort of early 2020 when the world was coming to a close, coming to a halt because of COVID. And all of a sudden I started getting links to videos and memes and stuff like that from my friends from this website called TikTok, as opposed to Facebook or Instagram. And at first I kind of ignored it because I didn't want to download another app. But then I went on to TikTok and saw what it was all about for the first time. Again, wasn't really interested until my friends started sending me links to TikToks that had musicians doing stuff that I felt I could do fairly comfortably. And not only were they doing this stuff, but they were getting big followings for doing it. So I thought, oh, wow, okay, well, I better get on here then. So I made a TikTok account. And it was during that time that we then got into a relationship, and we started dating.
We weren't together when the TikTok actually first started.
Yeah. When it originally started, it was just me by myself.
And
Okay.
It was about, I mean, this is the other thing, actually. It was a good old slog for about a year and a half of just uploading nonsense, really, before just anything that I thought was a good idea, until we got the first Watch My Girlfriend's reaction. But here's the thing that's so special about content, I think, but certainly with this particular idea, was it did it as a joke. Just it did it completely as a not trying to achieve anything here, just let's just do it for fun. And it's really funny because I hold on to that quite a lot in content now, which is, I feel like the moment you stop trying to create a viral video, it's the moment you accidentally will create a viral video, because your brain just goes into a different headspace and you stop overthinking things and you just put things into a much more simpler space, and you end up.
Well, not only that, Alex, but I think what you just described is being the trend versus following the trend.
Yes.
We can all get on ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or something and look up, hey, what are the top trending things on TikTok, YouTube, and the stats are out there. I mean, it's, anybody who's dumb anymore has no excuse. I mean, we have so much information at our fingertips; it's ridiculous.
It's so true.
But by that time, you're behind.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's an old saying in my business that says, "You're early until you're late." And so what you guys are doing is organic. And when you realize, when I stop trying to follow and I start being myself and leading, this is where it's happening. Yeah, there'll always be followers, and there'll be people riding in your wake. They got the wakeboard out behind your boat, and they're catching a little wave on it. But again, great insights for stop trying to follow and just come up and do what you love to do. Yeah. But whose idea was check out my girlfriend's reaction to this?
Mine, I think.
I think it was yours.
Yeah.
I think it kind of just, I remember it where it just kind of just happened. You did just come up with this idea as a joke.
Yeah.
Were you the girlfriend at the time or just a collaborator?
No, I was the girlfriend at the time.
Okay. Well, all right. I thought maybe that's how he got you. He'd be like, I just told the world you're my girlfriend. We got to make this work.
Yeah, that's it now.
There's no going back now.
Yeah.
No, we weren't. That would have been funny, but we weren't together at the time. And
very nice.
I remember we just had this, I genuinely, I think at the time was just sat on my phone doing whatever I was doing. And you just came out with it. Yeah. And then you're just like, right, we filmed it as a joke.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the thing that was really interesting actually about it is I recorded the video before I came up with the concept, if that makes sense. So the idea was not to film a video that was centered around this idea of watch my girlfriend's reaction. It was very much a case of, I just set the camera up to play guitar, and it just so happened that your legs were in the shot, and I hadn't checked it. And then, and then when I saw that your legs were in the shot, I was like, "Oh, okay, like fine." Yeah. Like, I actually think the original caption was not actually "Watch my girlfriend's reaction." I think that evolved later. The original one was something like, going to play the Hotel California solo in one take in front of my girlfriend.
Something like that, wasn't it? Yeah.
Nice.
I think it was that. Sorry, that was well remembered.
But I remember it just being just quite funny.
Yeah.
And just a bit of a joke. Well, and then, it just happened.
There's still something about it. There's still something about it that I don't. I guess that's the beauty of being the person who does it versus the person who is consuming it, is the person who does it, i.e. us. I don't quite think we're meant to know exactly truly what it is about these types of content that means people connect with it. Because, it's a bit like the artists not fully understanding what it is about their music that people fall in love with, because they're the ones that have to make it. There's been one of my favorite quotes from, I think it was, I can't remember which member now, but it was one of the Beatles who said something like, the Beatles are the only 4 people in the world to have never actually seen the Beatles play live, if that makes sense. Or the Beatles themselves have never seen the Beatles play live, because they are the Beatles, if that makes sense. And,
we share a lot more in common that you might know. And I didn't tell you about this in our intros. First of all, if I had to choose one catalog of music to listen to for the rest of my life on a deserted island, it would be the Beatles. And there isn't a year that goes by in my entire life that I don't listen to every Beatles song from first record all the way through in headphones.
Yeah.
Because the old mono recordings and the separation of the kick drum way on the left and a vocal way on the right and vice versa. There's just no better experience than that. It's so cool.
Yeah, I agree with that.
A dozen Beatles books with track sheets, and I'm a huge Beatles fan. And the stuff that they just put out, the remastered video, very long, but I loved every second of it. You got to learn some things, and I think my biggest takeaway from all of that, which even made me love Paul McCartney, like some people like you're a Harrison guy, you're a McCartney guy, you're Lennon. Like, I love the Beatles as a whole, but if I had to choose one, I'm a McCartney guy. Some of my friends are Lennon guys,
I'm the same. Yeah. I'm a McCartney guy. Definitely.
I'm a McCartney guy. I've seen him a number of times live. Freaking fantastic. But when the band is sort of fussing over Yoko, the amount of respect that Paul had for John, and just say, hey man, that's his woman. Mm-hmm. It's like, we got to respect it, and I was like, this guy is like so gracious, and he has so much grace and so much respect for John. And she sat there and screamed and howled and tried to become an artist and this stuff. And John loved her. And Paul had mad respect for it. And that wasn't 20 years later. This is 1969.
Yeah.
This is in the thick of it. This comes through. Let's backtrack a little bit here. And let's start with Alex, female Alex. This is a little difficult. You want to be Alex 1 or Alex 2? Or Alex F or Alex M?
if we have had to do that.
We've had to do that quite a lot.
Okay. I can say Pretty Alex and Handsome Alex. I think that would be politically correct. Yeah. Okay.
I could get behind that.
Thank you.
Pretty Alex and Handsome Alex. Pretty Alex, tell me, why don't you give me a little bit of your background? Like, where'd you grow up? How did you get into music? When did you discover a voice?
So
all of that stuff.
I am from Yorkshire. If you know it.
Sorry. I forgot to tell you. Me mum was born and raised in London.
Right,
so
okay.
My grandparents came here after the World War II with their three children and came here. And so my grandparents are Brits. And I've had more visits to Madison Square Garden in New York, see the Royal Guard, than anybody would ever see in their lives.
Great
venue. Every year. So it was great. So anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's
Pretty
okay.
Alex.
So yeah, I'm from Yorkshire, north of England. And how old was I when I discovered I could sing? I was really, really young. And I think I got up on karaoke and I remember singing an ABBA song. And I think that was a sort of indicator to my dad that I was a singer and I could sing. Okay. I remember asking him and just saying, can I get up and sing? I think it was Money, 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 actually, by ABBA. And I just sung it word for word and because I just loved it. And my dad was like, oh, okay, right, she could sing. And then from that point, I just continued singing from being a little girl. Loved drama as well, loved performing. And then I started gigging professionally when I was about 14. Okay. So I've been doing it quite a while and went on to study it at university. That's where I met Alex. But yeah, I've just, as long as I can remember really, just being a singer and
I love it.
I love it so much. And it's an absolute pleasure to be able to, sing with the one person you love as well. So it's, yeah.
Were you going to university for music?
Yes. Yeah.
You were?
Yeah.
And were you too as well, Alex?
I was,
Handsome Alex? Okay.
So I did music technology.
Okay.
And you did...
Music performance.
Music performance, that was it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you...
Just so happens you're a great performer as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
He's a great performer as well.
Absolutely.
Very, very technically competent guitar player.
Well, I mean, this is something that I truly love about Al, is that she, out of the two of us,
Whoa. Now we're Al?
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. You can help me out here.
Sorry, that's nickname.
Nickname.
Yeah.
About Pretty Alex.
Yeah.
You have got a lot of experience working in or gigging in what are known in this country as working men's clubs, which are quite difficult, shall we say, venues to play in. Well,
yeah, I mean,
would we call them blue collar bars in America?
What would you call
maybe
them?
I don't know.
Let's dig it. What is a working men's club?
So these
define that a
clubs
little bit
have
more.
been around for a long, long time.
Are there women involved?
There are now.
These clubs have been around for a long, long time. And I don't know if you have a lot of them down south, but we have loads up north in northern England.
Okay.
And right now they're still like the same people who have been going since like the 70s, 80s onwards.
Okay.
And some of those crowds can be so, I want to say set in their ways in, they like a specific kind of genre of music.
Okay.
And when you're coming in as a young, I was obviously a teenager at the time, some people don't really appreciate what you sing and what you do. That's fine. I completely get it. But it's difficult. These people, I've had times where people have said not very nice things and it just toughens you up. And
absolutely,
you have to like that. And also that's the business that you're in. Don't matter where you are, whether you're online, whether you're performing live, it doesn't matter where. you're always going to get people who don't like what you do. And I think because I was so young and I started to learn that straight away, it really does toughen you as a performer, as a person.
Sure.
Because I was just thinking about that question just then, like how do you actually describe a working men's club? And I guess it's like the difference between, say, a working men's club and a pub or sort of like a restaurant is obviously if you're gigging at a restaurant or you're gigging in a pub, it's kind of overall general public. Whereas I would say working men's clubs are specifically defined by their kind of close-knit village.
Got it.
So they're sort of like, they're not that, they're like a step down from the local pub. It's like the local pub, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand. Well, this is good for clarification. I'll tell you why. Because in the United States, gentlemen's clubs are strip clubs. If you know what a strip club is.
I don't know what.
So I'm picturing a working man's club being even more gnarly than a strip club. God knows what's going on. I'm like, wow, these guys are playing behind the chicken wire. And so now what you're describing to me is like really local, really rooted in neighborhood and community, consistent crowds over decades. This is their place. This is their watering hole, their community place, their social interaction. Like they're bonding here. They're, it's good. That's cool. We don't have a lot of those here in the States.
Do you know what? Like there's one that's not too far from where my parents live, and they have these really good like function rock bands on every weekend. There's so much live music and people just love it. People just love it. It is. They are really good for, a sense of community, and they are really good fun as well. But
and
sometimes,
what better thing to do than bond over music?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I guess they are, especially when you were, however old you were when you were doing them, like what, 14, 15, 16?
Yeah,
pretty young.
Started.
I guess you could say they are because of the close-knit community that often goes to a working men's club. They're quite tougher crowds, I'd say.
Yeah.
So, my original point was I've always had a lot of respect because Al played in many, many men's working men's clubs and sort of got quite toughened up to the sort of gigging atmosphere, I suppose.
Yeah. But also it's, worth adding that there was a lot of good things that came out of that.
Of course.
There was so many
great places.
So many, there's so many laughs, so many lovely, lovely things about it as well, like lovely comments, and it does really make you feel good. And the not so nice comments, which you'll get anywhere, you just have to use it and fuel it to just carry on, if that makes sense. So
no, it makes sense. I mean, I remember being a young guy in the States here. We called it a garage band. So it was where you rehearsed in your parents' garage. Yeah, come up to there, getting our first gigs. I was in high school. And sometimes they go famously well, and sometimes, man, they're just a train wreck. Yeah. But you learn the art of discipline and preparation and rejection.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we're not an original band; we're a cover band, and so who likes David Bowie? Who likes the Beatles? Who likes Pink Floyd? Someone in the back is yelling "Freebird," and so. You make some people happy, you make most of them okay, and some of them, come up to you after the set and tell you what you didn't get right, and it's like, okay, hey man, thanks for that feedback. Really cool. It's gonna help make us better next time. Meanwhile, you're like, go get a guitar and a mic and go home and practice for the 100 hours I practiced this week. Yeah, and then come back and talk to me. But they come back and they buy the next ticket, so it's fine, and I totally get it. But yes, you thicken up. Alex, handsome Alex, what is your background? Where did you grow up and how did you get into music?
So I grew up in leafy Surrey, which is first county south of London. And I kind of first got into music when I was about 11. I have a very, I guess at the moment, it's a very treasured and also poignant memory of getting into music for the first time because it involves my dad. And my dad sadly passed away in June. So
I'm sorry.
I've been, thank you. I've been floating this exact story around quite a lot.
Good.
because it's a great one. But I was 11 years old in the car with my dad on the way to school, and my dad says, "Do you want to put some music on?" I go, "Yeah, okay." Like I don't know. I'm on my way to school. I'm 11 years old, or whatever. And he goes, "Okay, there's a CD in the glove compartment. Just pull it out and hand it over and stick it in the car. Stick it in the CD player of the car." And so I opened up the glove compartment, pulled out this CD. There's a very, very curious looking picture on the front of this CD. 4 incredibly hairy men walking across a zebra crossing, which I thought was very interesting. I remember thinking, God, that's an old looking photo as well. Dad pops the CD in. Of course, it's Abbey Road, Beatles. Yep. And the first song that comes on is Come Together. And I've heard people say this before, the sensation of feeling like a light bulb goes off in your head.
Oh, yeah.
That's a real thing. And it was definitely a real thing when I first listened to the Beatles in my dad's car on the way to school. I remember thinking to myself, forget music. I've never heard music sound like this before. I've never heard anything in the audible world sound like this before. I've never heard a bass sound like that before. Yeah. And I remember really just feeling my brain light up when I heard the Beatles for the first time. And that's what started it for me in terms of music. That was the kind of the start of the addiction, I guess, if you like, which is, I think, a fair way of describing my relationship with music. It really is just like an impulse that I've not been able to shake for a long time now.
Passion.
Yeah. And from there, it was, wanting to be like the Beatles. Dad bought me a drum kit, then he bought me a bass. I was very fortunate, and Dad was very generous with his buying of instruments. Yeah. And then he bought me a guitar. I'd learned my first chords on Dad's guitar that he had lying around. He showed me my first chords as well, which is, again, another very kind of treasured memory.
Sure.
And yeah, from there, once I'd sort of learned to play the instruments, I started my first band at sort of 15, 16. We wrote some songs, went into the studio for the first time, started learning how to record music, get it all sounding good. Again, my dad bought me this little portable kind of recording device, the Boss 2 some Studio 2000.
Was it a little cassette 4-track or something, or was it digital? You're quite a bit younger than
digital,
I am. So
it's digital. It was quite a chunky thing, but I mean, it's incredible because it's got all my first ever recordings on it, and I pulled it out a couple of months ago.
Oh yeah,
do you remember
I remember this.
Yeah, it's a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
and it's got all my first recordings on it, and I really kind of learned to become a musician on that thing. And then once I went off to uni, that's when I started as a solo artist, got into a few more bands, started writing songs more seriously, and started pushing forward as a musician more seriously as an artist and a producer, and to present day.
It's a fun journey. Just to show you how much older I am, my first recording device was made by a company called TIAC, which ultimately became Tascam.
Well, yeah.
And TIAC made a unit that was about maybe 18 inches wide, 18 inches deep, and it was heavy. And the medium was a cassette tape, and it was 4-track.
Wow.
And so record to bounce, be left with 2 tracks, a lot of bouncing. The upgrade to that was a 8-track cassette. And I have just recently noticed on Reverb that these things are becoming hot again. Yeah. Because there was a sound in the preamps of those things that was very distinct. I had one, and I got to dig up some of the DAT tapes I have, some of the mixes I did. I lived with one of my best friends. We shared a house together, and he was in a band that I was producing. And the house was 2 stories, but the second story was more like a quasi-finished attic space. Boy, it was hot in the summer, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But I had all my gear set up there, and then I'd run a snake down the stairs, down through the dining room, down the stairs into the basement, and then I'd mic up the band, and we'd record all tracks live and only overdubbed vocals.
Wow.
And guitar solos. And we did that on this 8-track cassette. And some of this stuff was smoking. It sounded so good.
Yeah.
Then I went to an 8-track reel-to-reel, 16-track reel-to-reel, 24-track ADATs when they used to be on the VHS tapes, then to the digital ones, and then started rolling in the original Sound Tools, which was the precursor to Pro Tools, rolled in Pro Tools, and then I moved off into technology. So, but I've been in the studios with the Studer, 24 tracks in sync for 48 tracks, the Neve consoles, the Amec consoles, and they were a marvel. But what we're doing now on the phone, it's completely mind blowing. And the access to creativity is federated now.
Absolutely.
You used to have to be incredibly lucky, privileged, beg, borrow, steal to get studio time.
Yeah.
Now, one of my son's very good friends is a Berkeley graduate. He's living in Austin, Texas. Wow. He's in 2 or 3 bands. He's very talented. His first release, like the first 15 or 20 songs he put out on Spotify, he recorded all on his phone.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I'm just like, this actually sounds really good. I mean, it's incredible. What did you use? I did this, I did that, but it's all on the phone.
Yeah.
How'd you get that drum sound? I set the phone up in front of the drum set.
Yeah.
I'm like, you what? I mean, separation. It was a sound, it wasn't like the very discrete sound of snare, toms, et cetera, hi-hat, but it was a sound. So he got creative with the tools he had, but access for creativity right now has been federated. And we started talking earlier about the AI. AI just completely blows that up. Let's go back to your channels, to what you're doing, where you're headed, because slowly after the check out my girlfriend's very coy and cute responses to my guitar solos, or can I play this end to end? Next thing, Pretty Alex starts singing. And at first I was like, oh, did he just discover that? Is he just making her happy because she's so nice and he just wants to include her in the videos? Did she just discover this voice? And then I'm like, no, she's been singing too long to sound this good. And I'm like, there's a story back here. So tell me when you started including the vocals and the harmonies, what happened there?
Me or you?
You go for it.
Well, so I think when we found out that the Watch My Girlfriend's Reaction thing was working, I think Alex and I have always, before TikTok, before social media, Alex and I have always been artists. We're singers, we're writers, we write music. That's the thing that we were both doing for years before TikTok came along. And, that's the thing that at one point we were both very actively trying to pursue before we were together or anything like that. Yeah. We come from a kind of network, if you like, of friends and singers and artists from our area that are all, everyone's tried to do that at some point, and that's what we were doing. And we still are to a degree. And I think when TikTok came along, it was particularly the girlfriend's reaction thing that very much set the direction towards how we're going to do it. Because I guess you don't know what you're doing until one day something falls into your lap and kind of points you in the direction and goes, right, you're going to do it this way. And it's like, okay. So you kind of figure out a plan. And the plan was, by hook or by crook, one way or another, we have to try and get people into the party, knowing who we are, listening to what we're doing, and in some way, whether that's just doing covers or whether that's creatively, appreciating what we have to offer as artists and singers and performers. And so we basically figured out what was working, which in this case was the girlfriend's reaction thing. And we just ran that into the ground as much as we possibly could. We wanted as many people to enjoy those videos, to consume those videos, and for the time being, appreciate what I was doing as a guitarist, because that was the initial stage and that was the only thing that was happening. The next phase was always deliberately going to be to introduce Al as a singer, because we both knew, obviously you did, this entire time we knew that Al was a fantastic singer. And it was just going to be a question of when. When do we move to stage 2? When do we drop this onto our audience that, not only am I a good guitarist, but the girlfriend who's just sat on the bed kind of watching, she's actually a fantastic singer. Yeah, she's like an incredible singer. Yeah. So, the plan was always to move to that. There wasn't
I tell you something? Can I just interject something here?
Yeah.
Hearing this story makes me smile so much because I don't know if you thought about it the way I'm about to describe it, but this is what it looked like from part of your community's basis. So I'm taking myself out of the interview. I feel like we're becoming fast friends, but I'm going to tell you from the community participant what it felt like. And whether this was intentional or not, I'd be very curious of. It almost felt like the audience felt like, oh, we just discovered maybe she could sing. Let's check her out on a thing or two. And she came out. Hey, that's really good. And then there was a little bit more, and then a little bit more. Then the harmonies got a little bit more complex, and then the color of the songs got a little wider, and then the production became even a little bit more lush around the vocals. Like there was this thing that was just building. Now, I know from being creative that sometimes, as you described, the journey sort of carves its own road. And maybe that was something that happened organically. But from this side, it really looked, well, now that I think about it, I didn't know it then, but now that I think about it, I almost give you guys like a credit, a genius credit. Because what it looked like from the audience perspective is that how you slowly introduced that and brought that up and built it. It was like a symphony. I mean, you really orchestrated it very well. So either it was you listening to instincts and the response of the community, or all along you had this plan to sort of create that ramp into this next stage, so to speak, as you describe it. Which one was it?
It was, I think I'm going with instincts because
okay, good.
It was always about getting from A to B. And in this case, B was, as I said, making sure that in some way people appreciated that we were both musicians that have a lot of stuff to offer musically. And obviously we didn't get much of a chance to determine how we got there. TikTok decided that for us, if that makes sense. But again, the natural evolution of going from the girlfriend's reaction to the duet stuff came from, okay, well, we're starting here and we've got to get here. So we just got to figure out a way to just slowly transition this into this thing.
And it took time, didn't it?
It did take time, yeah.
It's like you say, because TikTok basically determined where this journey was going. If you'd have asked me 4 years ago, would I have seen myself doing this? Like, would we have seen our journey go this way? No. I think because obviously when the Girlfriend Reacts started and that and people started enjoying that, and we kind of just kept it rolling, didn't we? And we thought, all right, okay, so we've got a lovely community building here. And then it was like, well, do we bring in the vocals? Do we do that? And I have to hand it to you because you were so, you thought about it, and we tried to get it right and time it right for it to come out. And I think that we got it right.
Yeah. It was perfect. I'm telling you, as a community member, as a fan and somebody who's like interested in your content, it was perfect.
Thank you.
So whether it was whether it was instincts or intuition, purposeful plan, or just dumb luck, congratulations. And I want to add something else that you guys may or may not heard of, but or heard about from your community. I can't imagine you haven't. There's a third dimension to what you're doing, and it's this bond and this relationship that you have. And you don't even know that you did it, but you did it before we hit record tonight. You guys have a way that you look at each other that melts the entire audience. And it's a fantastic example for partnership, love, mutual respect. I mean, these are the things when I see you guys look at each other like that, that's how I feel. Maybe you cat scratching each other after the cameras are off. I wouldn't know, but I don't think that's true. And so I think there's this musicianship element. I think there's the vocal element. And I think this other dimension by you coming forward into the mic, Pretty Alex, is this bond.
Yeah.
And this harmony and this relationship. And if nobody's pointed that out to you in the past, then you can credit me for it, because it's what makes you so endearing. The talent is the table stakes. What makes you different? Can other people play Hotel California note for note? Sure. Can other people play Peg note for note? Maybe not. All right. You know, all other stuff like you, I mean, all the stuff you're playing is just, it's great.
Yeah.
When Pretty Alex comes forward, that third dimension builds, because now we see her artistry coming forward. We see her talents coming. We see the blend of this talent coming together. But I'm telling you guys, this relationship thing is a home run, because it's authentic.
Yeah.
It's genuine. And that, by you coming forward to the mic and doing these things together, I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to be the catalyst for your getting you to 1 million.
Yeah.
Because it's human.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's human. People are accustomed to now here to play great guitar, Alex.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like, oh, the guy's a shredder. He can really play.
I mean, in some ways, it's interesting what you said there, because in some ways, when we did eventually move to the duets and we started singing together, there was actually a slight sigh of relief, because it was easier to do that.
Of course.
It was easier to just sing together, you know, because that's what we've been doing for, you know, the first year of our relationship. And, you know, when we were filming all these videos, you know, outside of doing TikTok, we were playing in bars together, you know, we're gigging together, we write songs together, we always sing together around the house. It's just what we do. And in some ways, when we finally dropped that on, it was like, oh, you don't have to do those, you know, you don't have to pretend to be interested in me playing guitar anymore, you know?
Oh, we know it's true. She's interested.
I really am.
We can just actually do what we want to be now, which is musicians, which is great.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I remember when we filmed the first singing video, which was it Dreams, wasn't it?
It was Dreams, yeah.
And I remember thinking, I was nervous because I was thinking, oh my gosh, like we're introducing the singing now, and how is this going to work? What's the response going to be like? And then when we did put it out there, and the response was really, really lovely. It was like you say, a sigh of relief. I thought, well, we can do this now, and people like it, and it was just so lovely. I remember reading through all these really lovely comments the day after, and it was just. It
feels good. It had to be a nice sigh of relief for you, but
it was massively. Yeah.
The thing as well that was really nice about that was, I think timing was very important, because we'd built this thing up and up and up and up, and it was going and it was going and it was going, and we had a period of about a year or so when we moved into our first house. Where literally pretty much every single one that we were doing was just doing really big numbers of the Girlfriend Reacts format. And it was going and it was going and it was going and it was going.
Yep.
And I kind of knew that there would be a right time to start the duets, but I didn't really know when exactly that would be. And to this day, there wasn't really anything tangible. It wasn't like I woke up one day and went, right, okay, today's the day we're going to do it. I was just sort of, I guess, subconsciously keeping my eyes on the activity and the trajectory of it all. And I was literally just waiting for my gut instinct to just tell me, do it today.
Hey guys, can you pause there for a second? I don't know if you can hear it. I got the hiccups, but I have a remedy for it. And if you give me about 3 minutes, I'll be right back and I'll edit this all clean and nice.
Take your time.
I had hiccups before we started, and a friend of mine told me that if you have 2 little teaspoons of peanut butter, it makes it go away. Made it go away.
Oh, that's a new one.
That is a new one.
I had never heard it, but we'll see. Give me a second here. I'll be right back. So, you met at university. You started a musical journey together, started playing and writing and doing all of these things. And, sparks start flying a little bit. We like each other. We really like each other's company. Yeah. Alex starts making his moves. I know how this goes down. And now that you have this, this upwardly trending social media community where, I don't like to call you influencers as much as like you're artists performing and you're building this community interested in the work you're doing. Might you influence some things along the way? Sure. But you're not out there going, check out my puffy lips and, and all of these things. Like I love what you're doing because you bring talent to the forefront of what you're doing.
Yeah.
How do you balance the boundaries between always working, always thinking about new content, always making a new recording, always writing a new song? Do you have any, or you just love what you do so much that the boundaries are sort of edgeless? How does it work for you two? When do you take a day off? Do you go to the park? Do you go see a movie? Do you watch a movie at home? Do you go to the gym together if you work out, or alone? How does all this work? How do you strike a nice balance between all of that?
Well, we have our routine, I suppose, don't we?
Yeah,
we have a routine just like everybody else, really. We during the day, I'm in here working, you're downstairs working or, doing whatever. And
I think, I mean, I try and we're quite independent as well, aren't we? And we try, you're always up and doing either production work or you're filming content. And I think it's important that, we have time as, individually and, and also the time that we step away from this, we have, we might go to the cinema or, or we watch a film or something.
Life's busy. And when, you gotta build this stuff in, I guess. And, you gotta really make sure you do that. Otherwise it's very easy to become complacent. And I certainly think for us, it's kind of half and half, isn't it? Our daytimes are used for working and whatever stuff we're doing, obviously both together, but individually as well. I still do a lot of music production.
And also the live stuff,
Do
you still do a lot of live stuff?
Yeah, quite a lot.
Oh, really?
I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
We gig quite a lot. I mean, just this weekend we're gigging again this weekend and the weekend after that. So, we're always working and we collab with other people and we do session stuff. And because I also think it's really important to mix with quite a lot of different musicians. I believe, a lot of people bring different things to the table and you're always learning. It's so, we enjoy that a lot.
Yeah.
But so alongside, the social stuff, the live stuff. So it never ends, but it's good fun. We love it.
How has the social rise of your community impacted the live gigs?
Not a whole lot, mainly because we don't do a lot of kind of public live gigs, if that makes sense. We basically at the moment only really do private stuff.
Oh, nice.
So we only really gig at sort of behind closed doors, private events, basically.
Okay. How are they finding you?
Yeah, great. They're happy. We've not had.
No, I mean, how are they engaging you?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I have to break down my New York / Texas jargon
no,
here.
Right.
That's fine.
I thought you meant what they think of you. I was like, yeah, good. I think.
They think we're horrible.
Yeah, they think.
All right.
Suck.
Yeah.
Mostly social media and word of mouth. So we get a lot of work down in London and we get a lot of work in Manchester. Those are our kind of two main hubs, really. And, we'll do a gig for someone who will then, usually like a wedding, for example. That's normally like the best example of a sort of closed off private event. We have a lot of friends that, like to hire us to do their weddings, because we're friends, but also because they trust us, which is nice.
Sure.
But then somebody at that wedding will see us and go, well, I don't know anything about booking a band, so I just like to use the person that you used, which is us. So then we do their one and it goes like that. But obviously, of course, with social media as well, we get a lot of people asking, do we do we do private events? And the answer is usually yes.
That's neat. Do you do these gigs as a duo, or does the lineup expand?
The lineup does expand depending on what they want.
Yeah.
We always give them an option, don't we?
Yeah, so we do, there's quite a lot of the duo stuff, but then, we extend to a band, and like I said, we play with quite a few different bands and different musicians, and yeah, it depends what people want. It really just depends on what people want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trusted individuals.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah.
But such good fun.
That is a lot of good fun. Hey, do you mind if I switch up to a few technical questions? Maybe start with instruments.
Of course.
Okay. You're a big Strat guy, and I see you recently got something going on with Fender right now. Congratulations to you.
I did. Yeah, that was really nice. That was really, really nice. Yeah.
Did you reach out to them? Did they reach out to you? How did that work?
So they reached out to me initially as sort of part of I was on a list of content creators that they email every month with promotional content. And then there was a guitar that they were releasing, which was a Vintera 2. And I emailed the person that emailed me back and just said, out of curiosity, I really like this guitar. Is there any scope for a collaboration here?
Yeah.
Shoot your shot kind of thing. I was expecting a no. And I didn't get a no, which was quite a surprise, but also wonderful. So I got put in touch with a few people and yeah, the collaboration happened. It was great. And I got a kick-ass new Strat out of it as well. God, that thing is incredible.
How was it set up well out of the box? Did it come out of the custom shop? Or
yeah, it was very, I haven't done anything to it currently. Set up very, very well out of the box. Wow. It is my intention to get it set up, but for now, I haven't done anything to it. But it's a 60s Stratocaster, Vintera 2 road-worn Stratocaster. And I have never actually played a 60s Strat before. I've always played other models. So I've got a 50 Strat, but the 60s one is one that I never played before, and they are just wonderful.
They're beautiful. Yeah. You don't see it. Maybe you do. I have a guitar over this shoulder. It's a Pelham Blue.
Yeah, I can see
Strat,
it.
but it's made by a guy in Kentucky. His name is Charles Whitfill.
Oh,
and if you ever watch Joe Walsh play from the Eagles live, he plays a lot of Whitfills.
Oh, okay.
And so I have a friend of mine who you can look up later. His name is Lance Keltner. He's out of Austin. And for tens of years, he's been doing equipment reviews. He's like a guitar player's guitar player. He's from Austin, Texas, Texas blues kind of guy, tone guys, built amps, chase tones. Every time I talk to him, he's got the greatest new thing.
Yeah.
But he does a lot of these reviews, and he became friends with Charles. They were doing a guitar show here in the Dallas area here in Texas. And he calls me and he says, are you home? I said, yeah, I'm home. He goes, how far are you from the convention center in Dallas? He goes, Charles is cleaning up after the guitar show. And he told me if I have a buddy in town, he'll let this thing go like ridiculously cheap. He just doesn't want to bring it home.
Oh, wow.
And so it was normally a $4,000 guitar I got for significantly less.
Nice.
And so I raced down there. And he used it for the entire show. Lance actually played the show on it. I'm like, dude, I think he's like incredible. That's a 60s neck on this guitar he modeled it after. But Charles makes all handcrafted stuff. Really, really cool. Fenders have been great since the dawn of time.
They have.
They really have. There's another guy you should look at out there, and he's not a big name. Well, he's not a big name as a brand, but he's a big name as an influence in music. He started a new guitar line. Mike Eldred is his name, and he started a company called El Cabron, which means the bastard. Okay. and El Cabron Guitars. He was the first employee that Grover Jackson hired at Charvel.
Oh, wow.
Back in the 80s, late 70s, 80s. And Mike's job, shaping necks. As Charvel started getting bigger, David Gilmour came in getting ready for a tour and had this 50 Strat, but did not want to bring this 50 Strat on the road. So he wanted Grover to make these Charvel Strats that were a dupe of this neck. So his task back then was to measure that neck, replicate that neck in great detail and make 6 guitars and shape the exact guitars with those necks. Well, he made 7 necks.
Wow.
One was for him because he was like, this is the measurement. This is pristine. He loved it. And he's gone on to have a very long career through guitar building and whatnot. And he just launched El Cabron guitars, and he's starting making like homage models. And he builds 5 guitars at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I know this sounds like a thing for Mike, but I have no interest in it. I might even buy a guitar at list, but fantastic history there on the neck style. So he's making a 50 style. He started with an Esquire.
Yeah.
Now he's moving into Tellys, and we'll see where the journey takes him. But pretty neat. But all on the 60s neck. Love it, love it, love it.
Yeah,
Do you only play Fenders? Do you have any other guitars that you like playing?
I do have other guitars. Yeah, okay. I've got a couple Gibsons. I'm very keen on Epiphones as well. I think Epiphones are great. But sort of not like the sort of Epiphone Les Paul as opposed to a Gibson Les Paul, like Casino, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Casino, awesome.
Wildcat.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a few, to be fair.
I bet. Well, what you don't see behind me is there's a row equal on top. It's all my acoustics.
Wow.
And then there's a wall in front of me here. 1, 2, 3. That's got 5 guitars on it. Yeah. And honestly, I just sold 10 guitars. Wow. It was too much. I couldn't keep up.
I could
not keep up. It's bad. Talk about an addiction.
Yeah.
I was literally on Reverb the other night going, I wonder what's out there. And then I just had to put the laptop down, get away from the laptop. This is horrible. It's so bad.
It's the same with pedals as well. One of my best friends who's a guitarist as well, he said something to me once. He just said, pedals are for life. And I was like, yeah, I know. They are, aren't they? They just keep coming into the house against my will.
I love the memes. I love the memes that they choose Ray Liotta from the movie Goodfellas.
Yeah.
And he's in the wise guy suit and he's laughing at some funny joke and pointing, And the meme says, when my wife asks why I need more guitars.
That's you. That's him.
No, because the thing is as well.
Guitars everywhere.
Because the thing is as well, sometimes, I do a lot of brand sponsored posts with guitar companies, and honestly, there was a run last month and the month before where there were so many different guitars coming into the house every week for all these jobs. It was like, you'd walk into the sitting room and there'd just be a new one, and you'd just be like, what's this one? And I'm just like, I can't even remember the name of it.
Incredible.
I've lost track.
Very, very cool. Let's see. We covered that. We got a lot of good stuff as listen, even more than I hoped. Maybe we could jump into little rapid fire questions, and we're going to go back and forth.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And we're going to start with Pretty Alex, if that's okay.
Okay.
What is your favorite song right now? And it doesn't have to be a new song. It could be any song. Like you personally, what's your favorite song? Maybe let me refine that question. What's your favorite song to sing?
To sing.
To sing.
I'm going to see if I can answer that silently. See if I get.
I know what you're going to say.
Same answer. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, this is fun. I like this. I didn't expect this.
How well do you know your partner?
Go on, then you say
this
it.
Is fantastic.
I'm going to say Wicked Game.
Of course.
Did I get it?
Yeah, I think.
That doesn't surprise me.
I mean, it's just a classic. Wicked Game by Chris Isaak.
It's a very lush song too.
But it is there's just something about. I remember the first time I heard that song, and I think I was about 16, and I heard it in a shop, and I was thinking, what is this? I just fell in love with it. I pretty much listen to every version there is. I just love it. I have a very special place for that song. But at the minute, in terms of what is my favorite, I think there's so much good material out there at the minute. But there's a duo, and I can't remember where they're from in the States. But they're a band called After, male and female, and they make really late 90s, early noughties music, and it's really just refreshing because I love that kind of stuff anyway. And they recently released a song called Deep Diving, and it's so beautiful. It is so beautiful. All of their things that they're coming out with at the minute is just really, really good material. And
Alex,
it's
just because of you, I'm going to find that song and include that link in the description section so we give them a little help.
Absolutely.
Very nice.
Mean, they are just brilliant. I discovered them on TikTok, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, like these are really, really cool. The vocals are astounding. The production is fantastic, and it's so refreshing. It's so refreshing to hear that kind of music again.
I love it.
And it's very nostalgic. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. All right, Alex, we move over to you now. What's one thing that people might not expect that they would know about you? You know, they know your musical talent. They know your devotion to this fine lady. They know your vocal capabilities. Lace, see, there was that look again. Right? There was that look again, by the way, which is wonderful.
It's chemistry.
Now in the newer videos, they're starting to understand your prowess in the software for mastering and editing and all of these things. Like you're a technical guy. But what is it they might not know about you?
Well, a very music related or non-music related?
And this is your oyster, sir. Whatever you want to disclose right now.
Well, a common one that I say is, which a lot of people won't know, is that I'm actually a quarter Ceylonese, which is Sri Lanka. So my grandmother was originally from Sri Lanka.
Nice.
Which obviously made my father half and therefore me a quarter. Which is cool.
Very cool. Have you ever done like 23andMe or Ancestry or anything like that?
No, I haven't. I've never ventured that far.
We should do that.
I should do, really.
Definitely.
Yeah. We found out that and it's dropping as the years go on. My mother's side of the family, originally from Russia, during World War I, fled Russia, and my grandfather, my great-grandfather, sent his wife and his child to Belgium, and he made his way into the UK because my grandmother was pregnant and couldn't deal with the journey, and he wanted to set up shop in the UK and said, have the baby and we'll figure out how to connect. Well, there's no texting. There's no cell phones. Like letters take weeks, if not months, right? 2 years in that gap. So my grandmother was born in Belgium.
Wow.
And from that time they fled Russia to the time they made it back, there was 2 years. And so my grandmother was born in Belgium. And I didn't know this until my mother passed away. And we were at the funeral home and they said, okay, who's here surviving? Great. Oh, I'm her mother. And where were you born? Belgium. We all looked at her like, no, you weren't. She's like, yes, I was. And my grandmother was old school Brit. Okay. Yeah. Hose, skirts, proper dress, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, hair done, all perfect, 4'10" at best, and a Spitfire.
Wow.
And an absolute Spitfire. So, yep. Crazy. So yes, the ancestry thing is cool. What I was going to say is, and that side of the family are Jewish, Belgian, Russian, German, but Ashkenazi is like a overall theme. And for the most part, I was 51%. And with an Italian last name, my Italian buddies call me the traitor. Here we are thinking I got a full wop, they said, and I got half a Jew here. What's going on? I said, well, if you ask the Jews, I'm full Jew. So whatever you want, but I'm me, and it is what it is. But kind of neat. Hey, back to Alex. Mm-hmm. Somebody told me this once about getting bold and being on social media. And they said, you got to get past the cringe. Like early on when people start putting themselves out there and it's their first video or second, and even if you look back 50, 60, maybe even 2 dozen videos, you're like, oh, why did I do that? Why did I say that? I'm so unnatural. Like, do you remember that early post that was like a bit of a cringe moment that you put out anyway, but you weren't really sure? Maybe Alex reassured you, or did you ever have that? I know I have. I'm not suggesting you have to have one, but I'm wondering if you did.
I think there's definitely posts that I've put out there, over the years, and still probably sometimes now, maybe, that I think when you do look back at yourself, you're like, oh, maybe not to other people might not see that, but you as an individual think, oh, I don't really want to listen or watch that back. There's definitely been like videos maybe over the past few years where I look back and I think, I'm not too sure about that one, or, you know, but should I take that down? Or, but you know, there's people who actually like it. Like, it's just me who feels that way. And I think that's still a barrier that even now, even though some of, you know, our videos have been seen by millions of people at this point, there's still part of me that just thinks, oh gosh, still get, you know, a little bit nervous about what I'm posting and what people are going to think. But, and then I'm like, well, you know, I'm enjoying it. A lot of people are enjoying it, and that's really rewarding. And, you know, if, you know, it makes people happy. So,
you know, that feeling you get in your stomach, like you get that little nerve thing.
Yeah.
I've defined that over years, not only for myself, but for my children. And I've written another book called Change that's coming out before the holidays.
Oh, nice.
It's literally about this feeling.
Yeah.
And the second that you recognize, and I tell this to my son all the time, he's 27. He's off on his own business. He's a content creator and film, you know, videographer and content creator for other people. And he's worked with some pretty prominent people.
Wow.
Very fortunate. He's done pro golfers. He's done big insurance companies. I don't know if you follow golf, but he's recently doing some stuff for a big 5 million subscriber channel.
That's fantastic.
He's like really, on, it's just, he's really passionate about it. But I could see when he's taking on a new client, like he looks like he's like the brains are flying all over. And I said, you nervous? He said, yeah. I go, what do you got? He goes, oh, I got like this, you know, rushing. I go, let me tell you something. Your pops has done town halls and businesses for 1,000 people at a time. And I was just at a conference where I gave a little something. I was part of a panel for 2,300 and some odd people. I said, I still get that feeling. I said, you know what the difference is? It's now an indicator for me that I'm about to grow. Like something's about to happen. You have to redefine that moment.
Absolutely.
Because most people turn that into fear. And the science around that says fear was when they got that feeling, it was fear because it was survival they were fighting for. Where am I going to eat? Who's going to attack me? Will I be eaten by the bear? As society has developed and moved on, right? We largely don't have those worries anymore. We have some others, but so largely that feeling comes from these old embedded things that part of our DNA and part of who we are, and maybe even part of what we may or may not inherit from somebody else. And if you rescope that and redefine those things and that feeling, and the second you get it, you flip the switch and go, yeah, this is it. This is the feeling. Like you're going to start longing for that feeling. Because you're about to perform again. You're about to put it on the line. You're about to grow and learn and maybe do something better than you ever have. And if you don't, well, you're out there trying.
Exactly.
You know, what's the old judge, not the man in the arena speech, right? Just incredible. So that's my pearl of wisdom there.
Sometimes, just to add to that, I was going to say,
please do.
Sometimes when I get nervous or I get scared, or, you know, I get out of my comfort zone with something, I like to, because when you get into that situation for all sorts of reasons, it can really start to escalate in your head quite quickly.
Of course.
There can be so much going on, so many things you're worrying about. Have I done this? Have I done that? Blah, 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 blah. And I sometimes initiate what I refer to as my kind of factory reset in my head, which is where I just ask myself the very simple question: do you want to be here or not? As in, wherever I am, whatever it is I'm about to do, I just go, do you want to be here or not? Or do you want to do this or not? 9 times out of 10, the answer is yes. And if
it's likely 99 out of 100, Alex, but I understand.
Yeah. And if the answer is yes, I just say, right, off you go then. And you start, you know, you go back to square one. If there's a problem that needs solving, just go back to the start, solve a problem, like work your way through it, like get yourself into a cool headspace, just calm down. You know, you want to be there. So as long as you want to be there, about 50% of the things that you're worrying about will probably be fine. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly.
just do your best.
That's good. I love that factory reset.
Yeah.
It's good. And it's all these little things and these strategies that I hope when people listen to these, aside from hearing your wonderful story and about your community, but like there are things you guys are deploying mentally, discipline, psychologically to like fight through doing some things that not everybody does. Everybody who's successful makes their success look easy. And I think with the competence you guys have as musicians and artists and now content providers for a community, you guys make it look so easy. But the stuff and the reason I wanted to talk to you is because I knew it wasn't, and I knew it isn't.
Yeah.
And I knew this conversation would bring out the fact that you're working, you have doubts, you're human beings, but you're doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you're doing it, man. That's just so inspiring. For anybody else out there who's listening, it might be watching this and going, "Oh, hey, I play guitar, I sing. Hey, my girlfriend's as pretty as pretty Alex, right? Hey,
maybe about that.
Alex, like, I don't know about that, buddy, but we can get something going here. Like I can play, she can sing. What are we doing? Oh, we're eating popcorn on Friday night. We're not making a video. We're not putting the lights up in the room.
That's what we do on Friday night.
We do that as well. Quite a lot.
Yeah, quite a lot.
It's fine.
That's
You're
our
allowed to have popcorn on Friday
night. Good for you. Good for you. Now, Alex, I've also noticed your transition. Are you working out more? Like what did you do? And you're looking quite properly fit these days.
Oh, yeah. About, when was it now? 2 years ago? I think. Yeah. About 2 years. Yeah. Summer of 2023, I had a massive life rehaul. Because I realized there were some things going on in the background that were forcing me to engage in behaviors that were not healthy. So the main one was like a lot of overeating. I was doing a lot of that. I've never been particularly a big drinker. I don't drink at all now, but I was drinking more than I would say for me, which to a normal person is probably not that much, but I'm only little and a bit of alcohol affects me quite a lot. And I was drinking a bit more than I normally would. So I kind of just got to a point where it was like, yeah, I need to stop this because I'm sort of turning into a version of myself that I don't recognize, that I'm not particularly happy with, I'm not comfortable with. So summer of 23, stopped drinking, complete diet overhaul. I've not been to or had a McDonald's since the summer of 2023 or sort of fast food or anything like that.
Sure.
Cut down on sugar. Did all of this without setting foot in a gym, which was surprising.
It's 80. Some say 80-20. I think it's 85-15. I mean,
yeah,
you control what you eat. You stay somewhat active. I mean, I've had my fits and starts of going to the gym. Pretty Alex, you don't get to keep this in shape without,
to be fair,
without doing a little bit of work. But I throw the 20 around up and down like it's nobody's business because straight up, I'm 61 years old. Okay. Doing what you were doing back then won't work here. You know what I mean? It's what I have a very good friend. He's about 15 years younger than me. He's recently lost 80 pounds.
Wow.
Little under 6 stones, as you would say.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's transforming his life. And when he hit the 80 mark, he sent me a text that morning and said, "It's official. I just cracked the 80-pound mark." And I wrote back to him and said, "I couldn't be more proud of you. You have saved your own life."
Yeah, 100%.
Because
100%.
I'm telling you, at your age, 45 years old, that wasn't going to work well where I'm sitting now.
Yeah.
Like I am your lens into the future, right? And if you want to maintain vigor and health, nice skin, right? You gotta cut the nonsense out. Now, I was never really a drinker. My vice was food. I loved food. I still love food. I think if you asked me, are you hungry? The answer would be yes, 24/7, 365.
Same. Still to this day as well. That was
very bizarre.
Problem. Yeah,
but I've learned to say, "Oh, I'm hungry. Hey, let me rewire that signal." Yes.
Yeah.
I'm burning calories or, some other meaning to it. Some other meaning to it for sure. But, bravo. You look fantastic, by the way.
Thank you. That's very kind.
A man worthy of such beauty to your side. I want to wrap up here with what's next. what is next for you guys? Do you have plans for your community, for the channels, for, is there anything you might want to leak on the good old 10,000 Miles podcast? Is that an engagement smile there? Oh no.
It will be. That is actually something we are very transparent about, to be fair, because obviously we get that a lot in the comments. And
great.
Yes, one day it will happen. We've had that conversation.
Good. Very nice. I expect an invitation to the wedding.
You will.
You'll be there.
We're having a lot of fun. We're just having a lot of fun. We're doing a lot of different things, and we're happy. Yeah. And when it happens, it'll happen.
That's great.
And if I'm totally honest, one thing I was going to say earlier is you asked me what it was like off camera, when we're filming, getting ready. A lot of that is just so much laughter and so much fun. There is not a time where sometimes we are just trying to sing. It's not working. We've just got to keep doing it. And all that and just the happiness and the laughter,
bring that forward.
Absolutely. And
bring that forward to your community.
Yeah.
We get through a lot of takes, don't we?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, it can sometimes take us ages, but that's what makes
show
it.
Show some of that stuff.
I know. We should.
I had another podcast. I had another podcast with a guy named Richard Black. He was in a very famous band in LA in the late 80s called Shark Island. Look them up. They were unbelievable. He did over 600 shows at the Club Gazzari's over the years.
Wow.
They were a staple on the Sunset Strip. I mean, unbelievable. And we talked quite a bit about AI. And he said to me, it's not in the AI yet. That is the magic in music. I said, what? He goes, the mistakes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
The mistakes that become the accidental note or the accidental drop of a vibra slap in the room or something that you leave in the track because it's so unique. And so if you guys are human walking through tracks and cutting out like some of those less than polished, like the authenticity, might be an interesting A/B for you guys, just to check some of that stuff out.
Yeah.
I think, sorry to interrupt,
go on.
but I think, especially on TikTok at the moment and on social media, I think there's the idea of everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect. And people pick up on absolutely everything, don't they? Mm. There is no musician that doesn't make mistakes.
Of course.
We're all human. Everybody does it. And, there's been times where we've been in recording sessions and honestly, some of the takes that I've done have been an absolute disaster, but you just laugh and you get on with it because that's that's what it is. It makes you who you are as a musician. That's what it's all about. I think there's I'm trying to think of the word. People just want everything to be perfect, and it's not. It's just not.
Well, the problem is, I guess, is that we're living in a world now where everything is made to look like it is perfect and everything, even in music, especially as well. Actually, I can't get my head around. It's probably the most difficult thing that I have to wrestle with as a producer when it comes specifically to original music. And I don't have this problem, funnily enough, whenever I'm doing, when I'm editing our next TikTok or something, I find that I just don't have this problem. But specifically with original stuff, I find it hard to let go of the perfectionism side of it. And here's the thing: when
you're producing for yourself or for others,
for myself and for others, to be fair, I kind of, I don't mean to do it, but I set myself this standard that ends up becoming unrealistic because I feel it comes from,
I understand.
It comes from this feeling of whenever I listen to music, particularly modern music, so less with the older stuff. But some good examples are bands like the 1975 are a good example of this. I would say now as well, Sabrina Carpenter is an incredible example of this. These records sound just so damn good. They sound auto-tune,
incredible. Syncing beats. I mean, everything's on purpose. the human element is somewhat sucked the life out of it. You know, if you get a moment and you do listen to one other of my podcasts, look at an interview I did with a guy named Rob Shanahan. Rob is like a very famous rock and roll photographer. He's traveled with Ringo Starr on his jet. There are a bunch of stories about him traveling with Ringo, good friends with Ringo. And Rob was a drummer first, turned photographer who got turned on. He looks like a cool rock and roll dude. And he's just a sweetheart of a guy. And he was telling me how his perfection, wanting to create music, carried off into photography. And he said, you know, I work in a community of people that do what I do. And he shot Van Halen. He's got iconic shots of Eddie and Sammy and all of this stuff. I mean, his books, I wish I had it handy here. His books, he's put out volume 1 and volume 2, are some of the greatest photos of some of the greatest artists you can ever imagine. It's got my favorite Christina Aguilera picture in there, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Wait a minute. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. Down. Okay. Love Christina Aguilera. What a voice, huh?
Yeah.
But,
absolutely.
You know what he said to me? Back to theme here. He said, my colleagues tell me that I spend at least 3 hours on a photo editing things no one will ever see.
Yeah.
And so if somebody's taking 2 hours or an hour or whatever the time is, like he triples down on it because he has just such this drive to perfection. But by the time the photo's out, it's in a magazine, it's in a picture, it's in a book. It's blown up to the side of a marquee in Vegas because Van Halen did a residency and he shot the whole promo kit for it. Mm-hmm. Nobody sees it. And in our world, Alex, there were days where I had friends who were real audiophiles who had rooms for listening to music. Yeah. Rooms. This is it now.
Yeah.
Right? No, this or even worse, right off the phone or a Bluetooth speaker that's got a stereo distribution of about 6 inches wide. Nobody's going to hear it.
In my studio in here, in my setup, I have a tiny little radio speaker that I've got basically set up as a second monitor that I can switch between. And I use that literally for mixing for content.
Yeah, very common. Back in the days, they were speakers called Oratones.
Yeah.
They were the alternate set. That was supposed to mimic what you would sound like on an A. You would switch it to mono and you'd put them on the Oratones. Yeah. And this is what it would be like if somebody were playing your song on AM radio.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's exactly what
mine is.
The
little speaker. Yeah.
It's just a little radio, and it's like a little hidden find that a friend of mine who I worked with a few years ago, he had one of these, and I was just like, "What is that?" And he just said, it cuts out all the noise, all the dimension of your recording and just reduces it to, can you hear it or not? You know, like I always imagine like a builder on a scaffolding somewhere doing his job. But he's got the radio on listening to your track and it just reduces it to, can you hear the kick? Can you hear the snare? Can you hear the vocal? Can you hear whatever it is you're really wanting to hear from this record? Can you hear it? Yes or no? And it's great for content because, you know, when we're editing up the videos, from a sound point of view, it really is a case of, you know, when you don't want the backing track to be too loud or you want the vocals to make sure that they pop out a little bit above the backing track. It's like, shut your eyes. Imagine you're listening to it on the iPhone. Can you hear the vocals? Yes or no? Yeah. Done. Great. Off it goes.
Amazing. You know, it's funny. I have such a tendency to want to overgear my podcast studio here because of my old audio days, right? So I use I use a Rodecaster Pro 2, overkill for what I'm doing, but someday maybe I'll have people sitting at the next desk, but it's got a lot of good DSP and I like the sounds I get from it. I've got an iMac in front of me. I've got an Osbach camera in front of it. This mic swings in and out of frame so I can get to work during my day job and then switch back over. I got lights. I got the TV, which I can change the logo from my podcast to my business. Yeah. And the Let's Dive In is sort of my lead into all episodes. Yeah. Guitars never move. But I was like, I got to put up a set of near field monitors in here. And then, you know, and I got to put a 50-inch screen up here. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, people are listening on AirPods and Beats and you know, if you're lucky, the AirPod Pros, headsets or the phone. I'm like, you know, that's old Vic. trying to bring back nostalgia. But that one little speaker you have, Alex, very smart.
Yeah.
Would you mind telling me the brand of it?
Yeah, it's Pure. It's a Pure AM radio. I'll send you a link to it.
That'd be fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that. So I interrupted the content with the engagement stuff. Do you have a thought about like what you might be doing next from a content perspective? Will you stay in the room? Will you move to other sets? Yeah.
Yeah. So we're, for the sake of not destroying an entire PR campaign, we will not let the cat fully out the bag, but we will say that we are working on something that our audience has been asking for.
Good. Okay.
For a long time. So
fair enough.
That's a new stage that we are excited to be moving towards, and it's been great so far. It's been very fun.
Very.
But yes, for anyone else who's watching who has been telling me to marry her, I am going to. Don't worry. And she knows we've had this conversation.
Good.
We'll be getting married.
You broke a lot of hearts out there, Alex. There were guys thinking they still had a chance to put a ring on it. So,
exactly.
We've gone on record here that she's one step away from off the market. So fair enough. But I could tell you what, no ring, nothing. You can't match the way you guys look at each other. It's warm. It's a blessing. I love to hear that you're having fun and a really good time. Let me just refer to one last note I hear. I just want to thank you both for coming on and being so authentic and honest with me. I think what you guys built is just an absolute reminder that when you get to start with two people that do what they love what they do, the rest just happens.
Yeah.
If you try to predict and chase trends and do that, but if you start with a passion and a love for what you do, and if you're fortunate enough, it turns into talent. And we know talent comes from discipline and hard work. Sure, there are some people that are naturally gifted. If I'm 6'9", 275 pounds, I got a good shot at playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
If I do the rest of the work. But if I'm 5'6", like my chances are going to get a lot slimmer. So there are certain things, but with music, and I know this better than anybody. I've got friends that have done some pretty big stuff, including me, flying on the Bon Jovi jet with my big hair back in the 80s.
Oh, Can man, look at that.
Even
my
imagine?
Gosh.
Look at that little handsome guy right there. Okay.
That's amazing.
Was acquaintance of John's, and I worked with a guy who was in a band with him prior to him making it big.
Wow.
But you got to do the work.
Oh yeah. 100%.
And you guys are doing the work. You make it sound lovey-dovey and easy and naturally gifted and talented, but you're doing the work. And my respect for you both is immense. Can't thank you enough
very much
for coming on. Really has been a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much for having us. That's lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been great.
All right. Well, have an amazing rest of your day. Stand by.
Thank you.
Please don't forget to like, comment,